You all know who I am. I'm Matt Schlapp. Mercy Schlapp is my boss. We live up the road in Etland. Wait, I'm not pointing the right way. Help me out. That way. Yeah, I'm sorry. And we love coming out here. We love your community. We really do. Yes, sir.
Matt, First Amendment rights. Social media. Facebook shut me down today because, as you know, the Biden administration dumped the strategic reserve gas on the market to lower the prices a couple cents, and Facebook shut me down because I forwarded that. What can we do about that?
Shut Facebook down.
Yeah, I think the thing that bothers me the most about the whole Facebook phenomenon is everything they shut you down for spreading something that's false is what's true. So it's not that it's even just like sometimes they get it wrong. They're getting it wrong on all the important things. And the most important problem with Facebook is this now $500 million that people like Mark Zuckerberg spent to take the election results and put a bunch of illegal votes into the count. And that's really what this 1-6 is all about. And now we're finding out that, Facebook, we know that they're just tracking us. All these companies are tracking us in so many ways that you could ever even know. You can go on your phones and turn off all these ways in which they search you, but it doesn't even matter. They still do it. So, I'll just answer with this one thing. It doesn't answer your question, but let me just give you a correlation. We're right in the middle of, I run this group called CPAC, and they blame me for an international super spreader of Chinese corona. We had one case in the beginning, we had one case at the end, but they literally blamed me for causing a spread around the world, and I got in one really bad mood about that, by the way. And then what did we have happen? We had all the riots of Black Lives Matter. You weren't allowed to say the riots were caused by well-funded, by white Marxists, Black Lives Matter. If you said it, the TV people didn't like it. And so we did something in our house that was crazy, because I had gone and bought all these really huge TVs because I thought that would be the greatest thing in the world, and we turned them all off. I'll tell you one thing, we don't watch any TV here, and I encourage everybody. I know it's hard, and I love my Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm savage on Twitter. But we got to start turning these devices off. We got to go back to reading the Bible and praying. And you know what my girls did in the middle of the Black Lives Matter summer? They learned to play the guitar. And they did what you guys are doing up here. Their voices were a little better. No, your voices are good. They're very good. But they're sweet girl voices. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's what they do now. And I think that's what we're going to have to turn to. Yes, ma'am. You laughed at my jokes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, right. That's good. You know what I'm talking about the toilet paper then.
What do you foresee in 2022? Because I think there's going to be a replace. But what are your...
Yeah. What's your name, by the way? Jenny. I think. Look, I'm a Republican, and I know this is a Republican event. The Republican Party gets things wrong a lot, so I don't want to be just like say that my side always gets it right. But I just think we're going to have an election like we've never seen before. I think the Democratic Party is in this unholy alliance with these radicals, and I think there's a lot of Democrats. My family, a lot of them. My mom used to be a Democrat. She would never consider voting for a Democrat anymore. They've just abandoned any kind of semblance of decency that they used to have. And I'll tell you one thing, I think a lot of, I'm obviously, Mercy's Cuban American. I look at a lot of these black voters who supported Trump. I think they're beginning to catch on to the fact that these guys talk a good game of wanting to help them. They don't have any intention of helping them. Their policies hurt them. And so I think there's going to be not only a big Republican win next year, I think we're actually going to see, and it doesn't usually happen without a presidential race, I think we're seeing a big realignment with what people are thinking. Does anybody in this room have a friend who's voted Democrat a fair number of times who wouldn't even consider it next year? I bet y'all do. Yeah, I mean, I know I do. Just not the party that it used to be. So yeah, I think it's going to be huge. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I've got a question, Mr. Schlapp. And you kind of alluded to this a moment ago. You touched on this. I think there's a red wave coming too, but I'm still worried about the problems we have inside our own party. By problems, I'm being nice. The problematic people we have inside our own party that don't behave like they're part of our party at all.
Are you talking about Liz Cheney?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mitch McConnell, okay.
There's plenty of them. What good will if we drag that cancer along to victory with us? I just don't see that turning out well. What do you think?
Well, I have my own views on that. The first is that since I run a conservative group, I'm a conservative before I'm a Republican. And I'm an American before I'm a conservative. Matter of fact, I think conservative isn't even the term anymore. I'm an American who loves America. I'm not an American who's running America down. I'm not teaching my kids to hate America. I'm teaching my kids to revere America. So I'm an American, and part of that is a coalition. I think we're bringing in a lot of these Democrats who don't hate their country, or they have relatives who are in the military, or they don't like the fact that their cousin who's a teacher has to quit her job because she doesn't want to get a vaccine, or you name the issue. So it's a coalition of people that's not so much party focused as it is idea focused. So, we're going to have some disagreements in that coalition. As far as the Republicans are concerned, if they get power again, which they're going to, I mean, I think it's, 99.9% chance they're going to get big majorities. Certainly in the House, a big majority. In the Senate, I think we get a majority too. If they act the same way they did the last time, the party is dead. They have to change. And what do I mean by that? Hey everyone, this is Matt Schlapp with CPAC, and it's my privilege to tell you that we've got a very important project that we've just announced, the First Amendment Fund. It's a brand new fund that we've created through our criminal justice reform efforts to raise money to take care of you, Americans who are being canceled and desecrated out there around the country. We know it just happened in Virginia, where parents were called domestic terrorists by the Biden administration, where people who just want to express their political views are canceled left and right. Now we have this terrible specter of a vaccine mandate where you can lose your job or be prevented from going to a restaurant or go to school according to your vaccination status. These are all the things that are happening in this country that are making people realize that America is in a fight to defend the principles that have made her great. If you want to be involved in this important effort, please go to conservative.org, click the link for the First Amendment Fund. Please donate to this C3 to help these victims across the country, including those who are just involved in politics, to make sure they have the legal representation they need to be able to live their great American life. We have to change. And what do I mean by that? You can't continue to say you're going to do things to people like us in buildings like this, and then when you get in the smoke-filled room, you laugh about the fact that you never intended to do that. Now, I've sat around a lot of those tables with a lot of those insiders when, it came down to the crunch time to do the thing that we've been saying we want to do for a generation. And, the word is, well, of course we couldn't do that because that would be, we'll get attacked, or it's just too hard, or it's too divisive. Think about issues like being pro-life. Too divisive, we have to be careful. We have pro-choice followers, and I think you can't do that. Well, you can't do that and survive. And so the people we're going to have people in the coalition who have disagreements with what we say are our policies and principles, and they have to understand that we intend to do them. I think it makes the coalition stronger. Because now we're not phony anymore. It's what we believe, it's what we're going to fight for. This is the thing I loved about Donald Trump more than anything else, And in this book that I described called The Desecrators, I kind of go into some of these stories. You know, Mercy worked for him. I never worked for him. But I met with him several times before he ran, and he would ask me millions of questions. His brain goes like a million directions and remembers everything, by the way. And I always walked away from those things saying, I wonder if he were to get elected, like what kind of president would he be? Well, that became real. And we saw what kind of president he was. And the thing is that he could never understand is, how is it Republicans keep saying they're for things they have no intention of fighting for? No one thought he would fight for anything, and he was making more progress than they had in 50 years. He said to my wife one time with one of those big, terrible budget bills, he said, please tell me they at least defunded Planned Parenthood. And she said, sir, they have no intention of defunding Planned Parenthood up in Congress. They don't want to make people upset, and, you know, it's divisive. And he said basically parroted the same words, which is why do they say they're pro-life if they don't do pro-life things? Like, you know, Roe v. Wade was in 1973. We've been running on overturning Roe v. Wade for 50 years. And he's the first Republican at the national level who got the nomination, won the presidency, who when asked if Roe v. Wade would be overturned, and mischaracterized what would happen if it was overturned, they said, you know, every abortion would be illegal in the land, which is not what it would do, even though I'd be for that. He said, oh, I guess the states will decide. Which is what federalism is. Big, bad blue states will have bad abortion laws, and great, you know, mega red states, like the great state of Florida I just came from, will have good pro-life laws. And that is, although I'd like every abortion to be illegal, this is what the American system is. He actually said it. Whereas everyone else would be so scared to say that. I don't know why he's not scared. I think it's because he's been called everything, he's gone through everything, and just it's a part of him that I really admire. And the greatest compliment he ever gives me when we talk privately is when he'll tell me, I love when you fight. I'm like, really? Really? You like me when I fight? And I was like, what about you, big guy? You fight pretty good. Hi. Oh, hey, Bree.
Hi.
These are my people over. These are my colleagues. Bree and Val. Is it okay that they're taping? We thought that would be fun. They're taping you. They taped you eating. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
Tell us about co-strategy.
I have a business with Mercy that we started back when Barack Obama was elected, which was probably foolish. But we do a bunch of communications consulting and used to consult a bunch of companies, but they don't like us so much anymore because the companies are woke, a la Facebook, right? So people like us aren't really what they want. But now we're spending a lot of time at CPAC. I think CPAC has really been on a great growth trajectory. And what's amazing is I'm being asked to go around the country to meet with a bunch of donors and other people who want to save their country. So I just want you to know there's a lot of you. And there's a lot of people that are willing to put their talent and their treasures on the line. And there's a lot of people that believe that this is like a 1776 moment for the country. So I'm a little less co-strategies these days, and I'm a lot more running to the sound of the guns, which I feel very hopeful about. I really do. It's very encouraging out there.